Hi guys, welcome back one more time to my channel. Today we're going to continue working and building up our application. We're going to review some rules. We're going to save data into a data type, and we're going to save a new customer into a database. Let's get started. So far we only create our customer search, but today we're going to create an optional action in order that the user can have available the option to create a new customer just in case that this customer doesn't appear in our search. So in order to create an optional action, we only have to go here on the case life cycle. You will have on the right side the optional actions. So here it will give you an option to add a form, a process, or multi-step form. So I'm already at the process that we're going to use. We're going to open it up. So here on this process, we will have a form with the customer information that we want to save in our database. So I'm already create the flow action. We're going to open up the flow action, and this is the section that I just worked on, right? If you notice, it's kind of different from the one that we had before on search customer, because right now we are saving a new record to the into the database. I didn't add all fields in order to avoid like to see it like crowded this form. So I just add a couple of fields, so this field will be added to a new customer into the database. So now that we have defined our section, we're going back to the flow, and the method that we're going to use today is through a data transform and um, automation shape that is called save data page. So for these, in order to save data into the database, we need to have a page property, a single page property. I'm already created, but if we go to app and then we go to data model and then property, if you notice, I'm already have my property created over here. So what I did is just like I just define the property as a single page, and on the page definition, I just put the class for my data type. Now on the data axis, I just select the option to copy data from data page, and the data page will be the savable data page. I made a mistake here, this one. So So here we're going to create our unique identifier that will be the key for in order to save a new record into the database. We're going to auto generate this one later on. For right now, we only have to define the property that we're going to use. In this case, are going to use customer ID dot ID. Going to save it, and there it goes. Now we have already our property. This we're going to use it on into the automation shape in order to save all the new record into the database. So going back into the flow, I only have to finish this. There we go. So on the load data page, we're going to use the option to I just noticed that I made a mistake. It's not load data page, is save data page. So I have to change the utility, going to back to automation, and we select the shape save data page. Going to delete this connector and create it one more time. So here, if we open it up, we are able to use an associated property, and since our property is already associated with with the data type, we won't have any issue to use it. So there it goes. So we select customer ID, we click submit, and it's not over yet. We need to finish some details first. We need a data transform to map the data that we capture here on the form into the data page. That will make the magic to save it. So what we're going to do is like we're going to create a new data transform, and we're going to call it create new customer. We're going to open it up in order to create our data transform. There it goes. So here, the thing that we need to do is like define the values. For example, remember that I mentioned before we need to auto generate the PY global unique identifier that will be the key for our record. So right now I will define it here using the property ID, and on the source I will use a function to auto generate the global unique identifier. Here we open up this expression builder to test it, and you see that we have a result here. So that will change every time that we submit or create a new customer. So then I will set up all the properties. So I'm already set up all the properties. As you notice, the source will be all the properties that we have on the create new customer form that we just made before, and the target will be the associated property in order to save our data to the database, right? So here I just, if you notice, I just fill it up all the values. So we're going to save it. Then we're going to go back to our flow. This one we're going to submit and save it. So we're going to test this new functionality. In order to test it, we're going to open up the portal. Then, shoot. Well, guys, I just found out a problem. I have another UI kit that when we create a case, it doesn't show me the option to add new cases or the option for the optional actions that we see over here. So for that reason, I change the theme of my application to Cosmos. So in order to change the theme of your application, the only thing that you have to do is like go to the definition of your application. Here I have before the UI kit that there is the traditional one. So this UI kit doesn't have as much functions as the Cosmo kit has. So for that reason, I move to the theme Cosmos. So the only thing that you need to do is like put here the application theme Cosmos and the latest version of this application, click save, then you have to move to the skin of your application, and on inheritance change to Cosmos skin. So in that way you will be able to change the skin and it will look like this after you do it. So as explained you before, we're going to test what we're creating so far. That is the create new customer. So we click on actions, and then we'll have the form to create order. I will change it because I don't like the label that it has. So in order to change it, we only need to go to the optional action in order to change the label, and we're going to remove that process that we had before, and we're going to try to add the optional action. We're going to click on save, and we're going back to order, and it doesn't show up. It doesn't show up, but because whenever you add optional action, it will go to the add work menu, and then on the sub menu you will be able to see your optional action. You can put it here by creating a local action. What that means that you only need to create a flow action rule, and inside of the flow action you will be able to have your section rule. So the when we click the flow action, it will open up the same thing that we have over here, right? So we're going to do it from this. So we have the same assignment. I just going to create a new case just to make sure. So here we're going to action one more time, and then create new customer, and there it goes. So I will change this label. In order to that, we only need to go to so we open up the flow action, and on the flow action here we can change it the label to create new customer. Click OK. We save the rule, and we go back to the application. We just refresh it, and you will be able to see the labels already changed. So we're going to add a new customer in at oh sorry, not bad, at gmail.com. So we're going to click submit, and we fucked it up. Well, guys, on this situation, I just made a mistake. In order to like save properly the data into the data type or database, the process that we need to follow is this. Um, we don't have to create a property and then link it. The only thing that we need to do is like on our flow action, we're gonna open it up. We can define a savable data page, right? So when this flow action is executed after when it reach the post processing, it will save all the information that we got in our form. So and well, how I just create another data type here just to test if it's working properly. So the only thing that we need to pass is the ID. In this case, I just put as a first name just for testing purposes. So we're going to go with first name property. So then we save it, and we open the data page, and on the data page in the data source we select the option data transform. Then we name our data transform that we're going to create, hit the target. I'm already created, so right now here I'm just mapping all the data that I want to storage in the database. So the thing that we need to do, since we have on the class for our data type, so we need to go to pages and classes, write down py word page, and then the class, right? In this case, this is the class of the case type for order. Then we're going back and we set up as a source. So when we run this, we will get all the properties that we have on our Pega word page and update it to the properties that we have in our data type. So we're going to click save, and then we're going to test on this exercise. I'm sorry, I just made a mistake with the portal. So we're going to create a new case, then create a new customer. We're going to click submit, and we're going back to our data type to see if we got this information saved in the database. And as you notice, we already saved the new customer here under with the information that we fill up in the form. So that is how we update a data type. This is how we map and manage the data in order to create a new record in our data type. The previous example is the one that we use when we want to modify any of the records that we have here. So for that requirement, you can use the steps that I explained earlier when we create a property and we link it to the class for our data type. So I hope that don't create any confuse with this topic, guys. The simple steps that we need to follow is just we have to go to our savable data page. Then on the source we select data transform. Then we map the data that we want to save in our database, and then we can call this from either we can call it from a a flow with the save data page shape. We can do that, or we can call it from the flow action, right? Let me open the process. So in this case, we can call it from the flow action as I show you before here, or we can call it from the flow itself on the save data page. Here we only have to specify our savable data page. In this case is customer test, and I believe that it was savable. There it goes. And we pass the parameter, in this case the ID that we define for our data type. In this case is the first name, so I just have to pass the property for the first name, and that will be all. So we can manage here to add a new record into the data customer data type. So I will fix this and I will change it to the main one that we already have, right? So in order to do that, we're going to remove the the data type, the savable data page here, because I want to show you how to do it with the um, automation shape. So we're going back to our process. Let me open it up. We click submit, then we go to the savable data page and we already set it up here. But in this case, I'm just going to select the one that we previously have, right? That will be customer savable. I will open it up and see the configuration for this. In this case, I am already have it, and we're going to proceed to create the data transform. Just use this for testing. We're going to define the pages of classes, the PY word page one more time. And the class, easy thing to check it out the class, you can go to the clipboard and see what will be the class of your PY word page right away, right? If you didn't know, if you're not sure about the class for your case type, you can always check it up in an open case in the clipboard. So that it goes. In this case, I will do the process again. I will just fill it up a couple of fields. Then we only have to call the page viewer work page and the property they will want to map in this case will be first name. We do the same process for all. I just put up a couple of properties as you see. We can fill it up a little bit more. Let me see what else we got here. We can set up a phone number as well. And we can leave it like this, just a test. So we're going to save it. Then once that we save the data transform, we save the data page that we're going to modify. And then we go back to the flow. That will be this one. So we need to set up. I just remembered that I just erased the parameter here. So we need to add the parameter for the ID, right? So in this case, so here we set up the parameter on the parameter page, landing page, and then we go back and just save this data page. So another thing that I forgot to mention is once that we have our parameter set up and or for the global unique identifier. So the thing that we need to do here is just define it one more time for the new record, right? This is a unique global identifier for the new record that we're going to create. So here we need to use a function. So there it goes. Right now I'm already submit all the information for creating a customer. One troubleshooting that we can make is go to the clipboard, trying to look it up the data page, and since the data page doesn't have any errors on it, that means that all the procedure was correctly performed. So we're going to close it up. We're going to check if that information is um, so we're going to close it up the clipboard, and then we're going back to our data type. We're going to click actions. We're going to look it up for Bart, and there we go. That is the information that we fill it up. That means that everything works smoothly. I hope you like the video. Hope that don't confuse it. Please visit my blog. I will put it in the description of the video. There I explain in detail, step by step, each of the procedures that we make here. So please check it out as well. I have a Facebook group and a Facebook page that you can follow as well if you want, in order to stay tuned for any update that I made or any new tutorial. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much and have a good one.